Landing a scholarship is a wonderful thing to do when it comes to paying for college. It's what every student and parent wants to do, but there are lots of different requirements in order to win them. And for some scholarships, they may require an interview. Scholarship interviews allow committee members to really get to know the student and understand who they are giving this money to. Now, typically a scholarship interview would be for a larger scholarship. Okay, so this is a very important step because it is typically aligned with a bigger win. We're talking thousands and thousands and possibly recurring, which means that the money would come every single year thereafter. In fact, I had to interview for one of my scholarships and it turned out to be a $20,000 win. So it was a big win over a period of 4 years. So in this video, I want to help you and your student prepare for a scholarship interview with some tips and best practices and how to really prepare so that we can stand out among the competition. Now, make sure you hit subscribe because every week we have a new strategy for your family to work towards that debt-free degree. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we redefine paying for college to help families build strong financial futures rather than ones with decades of student loan debt. Scholarships, this is our bread and butter. In fact, we've helped families secure well over $13 million to date, and more wins come in every single day among our members. So we have seen interviews, we've seen all the different criteria, and we have learned a lot, and that's what I want to share with you guys today. Just a quick note, this is not for international students. This is for U.S. citizens and permanent residents. Okay, now before I get into the interview tips, I do just want to say if you're having a hard time finding scholarships that would even require that, I really recommend you attending our free webinar. Go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free training or free webinar. Both of the links will take you there. We'll have the link in the description below, or you can click somewhere here on the screen and check it out there because that'll show you and your student how to build a list of legitimate scholarships that actually can turn into money versus all the scams and spam out there. Okay, let's jump into the tips. The first one is to research the organization. This is actually something I recommend even when writing essays, but especially when doing interviews. We want to understand what their mission is. We want to know what they are passionate about, what their values are as an organization. This can help us tailor our answers in the interview to what they are looking for. We also want to make sure we're understanding the scholarship details. So this research phase is extremely important. We want to make sure that we understand any kind of requirements and any kind of hints at what they want from their potential winner. Secondly, we want to practice common questions. So interviewers will often ask about a student's academic achievements, their involvements, what their career goals are, any kind of personal challenges that they've faced and overcome. But two questions that we know we want to practice answering is, why do you deserve the scholarship? And how will this scholarship help you achieve your goals? I would say that practicing those two can not only help if they ask those specific questions, which most likely they will, but it can actually help us build stories that we can use for follow-up questions as well. To practice this, I really recommend actually brainstorming some ideas, putting them down in bullet points, but also doing mock interviews. A lot of times students will say, well, I'll be able to answer that question off the cuff. Like, of course I know why I deserve the scholarship. But when we actually have to answer it, it's a little bit harder than we think. We want to make sure that we stay on track to answering the questions and have our thoughts really cohesive and organized. And so preparing that ahead of time can really make a difference. I actually have an essay playlist where I give a lot of tips around common essay topics, including these. So really the tips carry over even for answering those as a question. So we will link to that in the description as well. Now, before I get into the next step, comment below, has your student done interviews? Or if you're a student watching this, have you done an interview? And if so, what questions did they ask? I would love to share those, and then I can create future videos giving tips on how to answer those as well. Okay, the third important key takeaway I want you to get from this is to highlight strengths and accomplishments. So students should really focus on their achievements. This is where, again, preparing ahead of time can be helpful. We can write down, what have we done? What roles have we taken on? What kind of academic successes have we had? Extracurricular involvements, leadership roles, any kind of metrics, stats. Say, for example, we were a fundraiser chair and we helped raise $3,000. that is a number that we want to remember. So brainstorming all of that is extremely helpful. Those in the scholarship system, we have a resume template that actually can help for this. We also have an involvement tracker that we use with our students and our members. So if you are a member, then check out those two tools. Another thing to highlight is how you're a good fit. So if your student wants to go for the scholarship, then they can look at the mission and value statement and align their own personal experiences and passion to those. The next one is to be authentic and be yourself. So for your student, you want to help them really shine. Don't have them stifle who they are. If they get to the point of an interview stage, then this committee already appreciates who they are as a student. So we want to show that and highlight that in the interview, not suffocate it in any way. This also goes along with being honest. They will know if a student is lying or if a parent did all the essays and then a student shows up and doesn't even know what they wrote. We want to be honest here. The next tip is to dress professionally. So in the scholarship system, we actually have some examples of what to do here. You can look it up. Like if we were going for a job interview, we want to dress professionally. Girls, women, we can be in a pantsuit or a skirt suit, men in a full suit with a tie. We want to be as professional as we can, tidy up our hair, our appearance. First impressions matter. And if you think about a scholarship committee, they are giving the money to someone that they want to represent. So this student who gets the money, that is someone that they believe will take this money and will do something with it and be something with it. And seeing a student that can really dress to impress, can really carry themselves professionally, that is going to help. The next preparation that we can do ahead of time is asking thoughtful questions. So this is something good to do during the interview, but we can actually prep ahead of time the questions that we want to ask. One great thing that we can do here, I love this tip, is to actually research the organization in the news section on Google. You can see if there's any recent articles about them, something that they're working on, some kind of publicity, and maybe even bring that up if it makes sense. Don't do it just to do it, but this can actually show, oh, wow, this student actually did their research and they're understanding what we're about. Other questions that might make sense could do with, do scholarship recipient alumni, do they network? Is there any kind of networking or training that goes along with winning this? It could even be, why do you guys want to give this money, or how have you seen it help students? So any kind of engaging question. The next tip is to stay calm and composed. So this is where preparation can help us. It is proven that if we prepare, if we think through these questions and these thoughts ahead of time, then we will be much more calm and relaxed during the actual interview versus being caught off guard and panicking when they ask us something that we didn't think about. And like I said, even if they don't ask the specific questions you prepared, just thinking through these ideas and these questions that I'm saying will help other questions as well. That's also in that essay playlist we're linking to below, where I show how you can use one story to answer multiple essay prompts. Same thing here. You can use one essay prompt or one interview prompt to answer multiple interview questions. All right, the eighth and final tip here is to write a thank you note. If we can do it handwritten and get it to them before you leave, even better. If not, we can totally do an email. But that said, a handwritten note will always stand out. And I guarantee you most of the other students do not do this. But expressing gratitude for their time, even coming back and mentioning something that was discussed. I really appreciated you telling me about this, about your organization. So having that note, not only thank them, but also show them that you were engaged and that it left a mark, can really stand out to that interviewer. I think we also in that note can express excitement and just that you can envision your future and how it'll impact you if you do get selected. Okay, so that said, again, I had to do interviews for one of my scholarships, only one though, so it's not like this is a very common thing, but if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you, or if you're a parent watching this, I'm assuming your student has to do an interview. So I hope that this was helpful, but really that interview is a huge aspect of choosing the winner. There's a reason they're doing it, and we want to make sure that our students are putting their best foot forward. So again, that preparation ahead of time, doing it with other teachers or mentors, or maybe even parents. Ideally, it'd be a professional, but if you feel like as a parent, you can coach them through this, then great. Even if you are a member of the scholarship system, maybe putting in our Facebook community, asking for tips on some of the things that you've prepared, that could be helpful, or attending one of our Q&A sessions that we offer for members and and getting some feedback there beforehand, that can make a difference. We've had many members come back and say that our course materials on interviewing were extremely helpful. So take advantage of that if you are a scholarship system member. And if you're not a member and you're curious, make sure you attend that free training that I mentioned, because we do describe the course at the end. So you go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar. Again, I link to it in the description below, along with all the other amazing free resources I mentioned. Lastly, again, don't forget to hit subscribe. I have a new video for you guys every single week to help you work towards that debt-free education. I will see you there.